Na 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 na. I'd like to take 5 minutes to try and do what Bill Westenhofer tried to do in 45 seconds at the most recent Academy Awards. Bill is a visual effects supervisor and used to work at a company called Rhythm & Hues, which was most recently noted for its astounding work animating the Bengal tiger from Life of Pi. I say he used to work at Rhythm & Hues because a week before the Academy Awards, Rhythm & Hues went bankrupt. This sparked a lot of controversy in the visual effects community. 400 visual effects artists showed up to the Oscars to protest the imbalance that was going on within the industry. And when Bill tried to take advantage of his acceptance speech to bring some awareness to this controversy, they decided to cut his mic and usher him off stage by using the theme of Jaws. Worth it. It doesn't make much sense that the company Rhythm & Hues, a Hollywood-level A-list company that is noted for such films like Superman Returns, the Lord of the Rings trilogy, the X-Men franchise, all sorts of great stuff, in the peak of its prime, getting accolades for this tiger, simply failed. So what went wrong here? What was the problem? What screwed up? The real truth here is that the industry of visual effects is screwed up itself, and we screwed it up. I'll explain that a little bit with a little bit of backstory into my visual effects career. It got started 3 years ago working on Mind's Eye. I was the only visual effects artist working on it at the time, and I was under such a tight deadline with all sorts of fantastical magic effects, lots of stuff glowing, and green screen compositing, that I basically slept at my desk while my computer rendered, worked day and night, didn't have a life outside of the studio walls at all for 6 months. Now, imagine my delight when I find out the rest of the visual effects industry is exactly like this, and it's not going to get any better. It's not uncommon at all for visual effects artists to work minimum 60 hours a week on a job with a very strict deadline that they'll be asked to make changes and changes and changes to, and their pay will not change at all. And they'll be forced to accept a lower pay than they're actually supposed to be earning. So where is all this money going? If they're not being paid what they're supposed to be, then what's happening? All these movies are raking in millions and millions and millions of dollars at the box office. They should be filthy, stinking rich. Well, I'll use this example. Let's say an American studio greenlights the sequel to Battleship 2, Electric Boogaloo, and gives it a budget of $3 million for its visual effects. What they can do is outsource that visual effects job to another country that offers 30% tax subsidies on all of its visual effects work. Thus, they'll be saving $1 million. Or they can give it to an American company and save no money. So now an American company, if they want the work, they have to compete by saying, yes, we'll agree to far less pay and still do the exact same job. So this trickles down to the individual artist as well. The individual artist has to agree to such working conditions like, yes, I can work minimum 60-hour work days. I'll say goodbye to my family. I won't have any life. No, I don't have to go after work to have a beer. No, I don't need just that social life anyways. But they have to put up with that because let's say they say no. By the way, those working conditions are illegal in a lot of other trades. Let's say if they say no, then they're blacklisted, and they say no, get out the door. There's 100 other students that just got out of school who would kill to work for peanuts on a job like this. So that's the problem that the visual effects industry is facing right now. The trouble is that we created this, so we've got to dig ourselves out of this hole that we've made for ourselves, this industry that's cannibalizing itself and forcing us to compete with one another for low-pay work. The real solutions that are available to us right now, really we can see 3 solutions. 1, we put up with it, we grin and bear it. Yeah. 2, we can quit the industry. 3, we can form a union, we can form a trade association, we can come together as a group, we can establish rules to protect ourselves from these kinds of work conditions so that it doesn't happen the world over. What can you as moviegoers do? Unfortunately, not much. But we ask that you can do at least this much. When you go see Iron Man 3 next week, or when you go see The Hobbit at the end of the year, please recognize some of the sweat and labor that went into some of these visual effects shots, even though the visual effects artists aren't getting the recognition or the pay that they deserve. And also, please tip your visual effects artists. And if you can, I really appreciate a coffee. Wow.